may be coming, but we're not sure. And Liz may, sometimes she's picked us up during the meeting too. So first thing we need to do, and I don't know if Marie and Shane both, if y'all got the minutes, which y'all should have, you weren't here, but I mean, again, there, if you had any questions over what was in there, fine. But we need to approve the minutes from December, if we could, real quick.
I'll motion to approve.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any changes, discussion at all? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank y'all. And any opposed? Okay, all right. So I see we have Zach and Landon. Both y'all are both there here for the first project, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, let me. I'll just give you the kind of lay of the land real quick, then we can start right in. Basically, when you start talking, whichever one of you, if you introduce yourself and with your address, so we have that for the record, and we will. We have the staff write up and all the recommendations and all in front of us, but just tell us what you're going to do, generally speaking, and we'll obviously have some questions, but normally we have opportunity for people to speak for it or against it, but with the virtual meeting we're doing, we basically take public input before the meeting if we have any. And James, do we have any for either project tonight?
Negative.
None whatsoever. Okay, so we won't be dealing with that on this part. So with that said, let's go ahead and you guys going to talk to us about the exterior modifications at 624 Donaghy Avenue.
Landon, you good?
Sure. He's wanting to change all the windows.
Hold on. We're name and address. I'm sorry.
Sorry. 624 Donaghy, Landon Dixon.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I'll, like I said, replace all the windows with new double pane, the vinyl windows. They'll be beige, same grids, just open pane. Replace all exterior doors with those wooden stained gray ones that you sent in. And that in that sunroom, they're wanting to make that door just into a window because his fiance is scared about having a door so close to their bedroom.
Okay.
And then get rid of that old building and then add the driveway and the circle drive there.
Two questions. The driveway is where it's currently a drive now, right?
Yes, sir. It's gravel right now.
Okay, so you're wanting to pay that. The other, and there'll be more questions, I'm sure, but just real quick, windows, are they original windows?
Yeah, they're the old wooden ones.
Okay. Oh, I can't.
Well, most of them are anyway.
Can't, that replacing is fine, but I really wish that was not an option. But what the ones I saw that on each side of the fireplace, they look like casement windows, a pair of them.
Yes, let's have a storm window on top of it.
Okay, right. Now, are at the very least, it'd be nice if the windows, whatever the windows are doing now, if they're double hung or casement, if they're replaced with the same functioning window.
Yeah.
I'm good with that, Landon.
Kind of, like they need to be for that spot is my thing. But are the windows in any kind of decent shape, or windows are my thing. So pardon me.
Yeah, that's I understand. They look cool, but
I mean, are they?
They're decent. I wouldn't say
Well, I guess my question.
They don't open.
I've done workshops, so you're gonna have to bear with me for a minute.
Yeah.
Are they? Is it just because they're single pane and you got to have double pane for energy efficiency? Is that?
Yeah, I believe that's.
I guess I'll chime in here. Zach Saxon, 624 Donaghy Avenue.
Okay.
Yeah, just for energy efficiency, and just also we want, when the weather's nice to be able to open those up.
Yeah, they're painted shut.
Yeah, so just would prefer to replace with basically the same exact looking thing, but something energy efficient and something we can open on nice days.
Yeah. I'm again, the idea that the energy efficiency is not the glass, it's it's around them, weather stripping, storm windows, actually almost a window like that with a storm window that's proper is a better R value than a replacement window. And I'm not gonna. I could go on for an hour or two, and I'll not. It's allowable to replace them in the overlay district. And if anybody else wants to say anything, fine. But I could.
Is there not a rule? I mean, this house is on the historic district. I mean,
Do what?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I didn't right then that first time, but
I said this is a house on the National Historic Register. Is there not a rule about the windows?
No, our guidance for anything that relates to those local district guidelines are only in Robinson. So,
But it's on the National Register of Historic Homes.
yeah, the state doesn't have any sort of landmarking protections or anything like that. So, I mean, if they wanted to, they could go out and bulldoze it tomorrow.
yeah, it's an honorary thing, and all the repercussions there are they just take you off a list if you've done something that it's deemed not to be on the list anymore. So it's not. There's no. I think it's done as an honorary thing and hope that you won't mess it up. Is the kind of the way those are. But yeah, we don't have any. There's our guidelines are what apply to that since it's in the overlay district, and it's allowed. So it's unfortunate, but it is. Y'all, more questions, comments?
Those are vinyl windows on the back, right, Zach?
Yeah, they're just that was an addition where my fiance Jordan would like there's a door back there, and it's going to lead directly into our master bedroom, what will be the master bedroom. And so yeah, we're just wanting to basically I don't think we'll actually have to replace those windows, but we're wanting to replace the door with a window and then redo new siding that actually matches a little bit better than that current vinyl siding that it's just disgusting to me. So we'll make it look a little bit better.
Or are you going to take that vinyl siding off that's there?
Landon, what's the
That wasn't ever part of the plan. You just made that up. We can.
If we're replacing a door with a window, we'll have to do something. So.
Yeah, we're just gonna patch it with what's already there.
The least you can or should do is be to match what's there, because that's the easiest thing to do and covers it.
If that's possible, Landon, then I guess. But I don't want it to look like a patch job. That's all I'm saying.
I won't.
Right. We'll trust Landon on that one.
That's right.
If the vinyl if you do end up removing all the vinyl, then our requirement would be for it to go back as hardy.
I'm well aware. But yeah, that's fine.
And it's if you look at that, there's not a lot to do with that, but still, it would be a good retrofit to if you did to go back to something a little more durable. First off, but other members, I'm gonna just mope about the windows here for a minute, but they can't, they can be fixed, they can be unstuck, they can be with a storm window that's removable even during the good times of the year. They can be more energy efficient than a replacement window that goes in there without a storm window. That's not me just wishful thinking. That's studies that I've dealt with and looked at and the number. I mean, it's not like I think a single pane window is like a 1 point something R value. A double pane is maybe in the 4 range, or maybe it's 2 to 4, and then you put a storm window on a single pane window and it goes to like 6 something. So we're talking small amounts. I mean, but the glass doesn't leak. The glass is cold to the touch on single pane and double pane both. It's just getting those windows to function right that can be daunting sometimes. So, but anyway, I'll let other people talk. Shelby, if you want to say something.
I was gonna move on to the recommendations that were recommended by staff. You guys sound like you've already reviewed them, but just to be sure that you're okay with those recommendations, the driveway width is going to be limited to the 12 feet, being 12 feet wide. And then obviously your HVAC system, we want to make sure that's not seen from the street. So it needs to be placed in a manner that it's less visible. And then if you did remove any tree over 8 inches, it must be, that would be removed during construction. You have to replace that with a canopy tree. Are you guys okay with that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I didn't think you had any issues, but I just want to double check.
And Landon, or did we also ask for the concrete pouring for an eventual garage, which we'll request at a later date?
No.
Okay, just the sort. Okay, we'll figure all that out later.
You asked for a parking pad, a 20 by 20.
Yeah, yeah, there's a 20 by 20 parking pad in there somewhere. I saw.
okay.
Yeah, is that what you're referring to? That parking pad?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
It is in the
Okay.
report.
It's on the
You
drawing.
didn't think about- you
Yeah,
should put it in that garage.
yeah.
Well, I mean, we're not doing that right now. It'll be in the future. We'll request again, and we'll figure all that out in the future.
If everything's approved tonight, you will have approval for the 20 by 20 parking pad as well.
Okay, cool.
It's not, the revisiting would be for the garage, but that's
Right.
But I mean, if you don't pour the pad now, it'd be part of the garage anyway. So it's kind of
Yeah.
doesn't matter, on that end.
Zach, I would recommend visiting with me about that before you make a final determination, just so we.
Yeah, it'd be years.
I don't want you to pour concrete that's going to mess you up later on.
True.
Sure.
So-
Okay, we'll talk. It'll be the last thing in construction, and a garage would be years down the road, so it's not a big deal.
Okay. And it'd be a little cheaper on concrete right now too if you don't do it. So
And Steve, it looks like Marie had a question. I know she has her hand raised.
I'm sorry, Marie. Yes, ma'am.
That's okay. It's really not a
You can
question. It's going
up.
back to the windows.
Uh-huh.
So my house, I actually had Conway Corp come out there. It's 1927. It's got huge windows in it. It's right by Steve's house. And to replace those original windows, it was going to be not cost efficient. Like Steve said, it was better to keep the original windows. And I gutted it. I took it down to the studs and put spray foam insulation and went around those windows. And I'm telling you, my Conway Court bill has never, with everything involved, been over $200 a month. Never. It's usually around the 130, 140. And if you do it right, so Zach, my question would be to you guys: Are you gonna take that sheetrock off on the inside so you can insulate?
Landon?
I mean, we weren't planning on it, but we can if you want to.
Well, I'm just asking because if you are, then I agree with Steve, because if you go in and you insulate those walls, which is probably no insulation in those walls.
Yeah, it's
typically.
not sheetrock. It's that old stucco stuff.
Oh, okay, then there's no insulation in there. So if you do the exterior, then I'm going to agree with Steve, keeping those original windows and just reworking them, which is not that difficult. You're going to save money in the long run, and you're going to keep that historic value, as far as I'm concerned, in that window. So there are ways of doing it. So I agree with Steve, but that's just my input on that, because I've done that several times down there, several times.
And again, Marie, the thing here with this particular where we're at is, it's allowed, and that's unfortunate. That's part of the guidelines that, that's there. So if it'd be great if y'all could investigate that a little bit, and just see if it's worth doing. If not, again, it's what's allowed. It wasn't even anything related to the recommendations in it from staff. So because it's allowed. So
Correct.
I will stop talking about it too.
Yeah.
But still, so with that said, I think I haven't exhausted my thoughts on Windows, but I will for now. So,
Well, Steve, I think that y'all have certainly given a lot for Zach and Landon to consider. And it sounds like, I know Steve is always available for any extra consultations or extra information you guys might need. But since it is allowable, I'm going to move forward with making a motion. And so I'm going to make the motions that were or recommendations that were made by staff about the driveway, the HVAC equipment, and the tree. I do want to add an additional recommendation that if for some reason the vinyl siding is removed, it must be replaced with the fiber cement siding. So I'm just going to go ahead and add that just to sprinkle it on top.
Wood. The option is hardy board or wood, you know.
Or wood, yes.
Yeah, so.
But if that happens, that's not saying that it is. It's just if it's removed, that's what we're going to recommend.
I guess
That's what I got.
I'm gonna abstain
are-
from this vote.
Pardon?
I'm gonna
Had
abstain
one
from this
you know,
vote,
debate.
considering Zach and I are friends and we work together.
Okay. Okay, so let's see, so I'll need to vote this time. So, okay, so we have a motion, have a second? You got,
I'll second.
there you go. Okay,
Way to go, Shane.
yeah.
Stepping up, first day.
Jump in there.
All right, so I have a motion and a second to approve, with the amended recommendations to include the siding comment by Shelby. With that, all those in favor, and I'm there in favor.
Aye.
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 Okay, any opposed? We had one abstention. Okay, so it passes. Guys, you know, again, I'm very passionate about windows and historic, old, you know, the original windows and all that. And that's again, I won't go crazy with that, but we appreciate you listening and coming tonight. And James can tell you what happens next with, now that we have approval, James.
Yes. Oh, I wasn't sure what you were teeing me up for. Yeah, I'll get your certificate of appropriateness out to you, and Zach, I can discuss with you. What I was hinting at with the parking pad is we may want to nail that down a little bit more into a more formalized site plan. Just simply because if you're locking that in, then you know there might be some problems you might have with approval later on. So we want to make sure it goes into a location that will be easiest for you to get it approved.
Sure. Yeah, I'm out of town right now, but maybe later this week we could talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just even over email. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
That's the separate from tonight, so there's no reason for us to discuss that, right? I mean, that's going to be okay. All right. Okay.
That's just looking out for Zach.
Well, I just want to make sure what anything we need to.
Thank you, by the way.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
thank you.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you.
Bye.
All right. Do we have Aaron? Do we have next ones coming up? Here we go. Okay, the next item we have is the detached garage and some modifications to the exterior 2019 Prince Street. I see Jason Barnett here.
Yes.
What I don't know if y'all heard earlier, but if you're going to talk, tell us your name, Conway, and tell us what we're looking at.
It sounds like we might have some background noise on. There we
Yeah.
go. There we go. Got it fixed.
This is Jason Barnett
Okay.
at 18 Feagle Loop, Conway, Arkansas.
Okay. And okay, if you're going to be talking to us about it, that's fine. You know, if you want to present it or.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So with the existing house that's on Prince Street, we're looking to add a 2-car garage on the back. And we've looked over the notes with the recommendations as far as doing hardy board siding and the one window and replacing any trees. And we had no issues with any of the comments in the recommendations.
Okay. We understand in the reading here that the current owner did not do the things to the property that were done without oversight from the city. I mean, that they bought this as it is, and we're not holding their feet to the fire about the things that were done that weren't approved. But there was one on the carport of replacing the roof to be not metal but be shingle. that's one, or number two, is that one you're okay with as well?
Yeah, I spoke with the homeowner and he was okay with us replacing that and making it a shingle roof.
Okay. Again, I did, you know, if they were the ones that did it, we'd have some discussion, but that, that's
Oh, yeah.
what it is, so, but, I don't know, anybody else have any other questions? I think, it's I guess one more thing. The only thing that I saw that I wanted to be clear in my head, the three options for the location of the garage, or two options, where it is, the carport will need to be removed if it stayed where it's at. Is that right, James?
Yeah, in essence, if y'all approve this, we would just work with Mr. Barnett to
Because it's
get an appropriate location.
It's
Anywhere back there is fine.
right. Okay, it's got to meet guidelines that are not ours but the city's. So, and that's fire department, things like that. So yeah, we can rule on it and as the parts and pieces, but the location, James will work with the owner. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions or comments or concerns about what we've been presented with?
No, you guys came prepared. You already reviewed the recommendations and said you're okay with those. So typically when that happens, we don't have too many comments.
Yeah, it makes it easy.
Yeah, with that, I'll make a motion to approve with all recommendations provided by staff.
A second. Emily, I get yours a little delayed, so that's why I say pardon me, because so I'm sorry about that. And it's a pretty good amount of recommendations too. I mean, it's a pretty thorough. So anybody else have any comments, discussion on that before we vote? But go with what we saw. With that in mind, then, all those in favor?
Aye.
There's
And my dog voted.
somebody voted for you. Yeah. Okay. Anybody opposed? Okay, then that passes. And Jason, I don't know if you heard previous, but James will tell you what happens next on with the
Awesome.
CO.
Yeah, Jason, I'll send you an email tomorrow, and we can kind of figure out basically where y'all want to go with that location. It just needs to be, it either needs to be tied under roof, which would be, I think, probably pretty expensive and difficult, or at least 10 feet away from the carport. So it probably moved back a little bit, but
Okay,
I'll email you.
sounds good.
Okay. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. So our agenda goes then to, I can't get there. Since it's January, we get to pick officers. And
So who's not here that we can put on for secretary?
Well, I've done it for a whole year, even though I said we were going to rotate the responsibility.
I know you have, and Shelby, this is not just to talk into something, but you've done a phenomenal job. So
I agree.
Yeah, Steve. Yeah. You're just buttering me up.
Yeah. Best one we've ever had, Shelby. I think
I've got 10 bucks too if you need. No, it really, if you want to continue, let me start with that. If you want to continue doing it, I think it'd be a good thing. I'm just saying, but
I'm fine with continuing. I was gonna say that I'd do it because it's a pretty easy process.
Good,
I have
good deal.
I have a Google Doc that I just copy every month and make some changes. So
well, if it's that easy, come on. No, that's we appreciate it. We appreciated this past year too. And Marie and Shane, you guys, you jumping in here, first meeting virtual. We've been doing it now, 10 months, I guess, or whatever. I'm still not used to it. I'm used to sitting at a table and we could talk and we could, it's just different. But I hope, that again, this was probably one of the easier ones we've had in a while. So it was a good one for you guys to see. And we can mourn the passing of the windows, I guess, too. But that's another discussion.
maybe you guys convince them to not get rid of the windows. You never know.
What color is the sky in your world?
If you could convince them maybe and let them know that, it would be cheaper probably.
I know.
And I would, and I'm not up on my real estate, but I would imagine that if they did it the way that Marie was talking about, that it would later on help the value of the home.
Oh,
Is that
definitely,
correct?
definitely. Original windows in working condition and insulated walls, if they did that, it's just, I mean, Marie knows that. If that's just
So maybe they could be,
The thing is he's a realtor.
explained.
yeah, well, we'll see.
He's a realtor with us, so I mean, he's gonna do what he's gonna do.
Talk to him. Okay, the other two things, we have chairman and vice chairman, and I'm open to.
I vote you chairman, and I'll keep vice chairman, and we're good.
Okay, I'm fine with that. You just because you don't have to be chairman, but once every 8-9 months or so.
Only when you're involved in a project.
When you have a project, okay. Okay, well, I guess we have a slate of officers. I guess we need to vote on them. Maybe somebody want to make a motion and all that. So I'm still old chairman. I'm conducting it.
Can we make a motion about ourselves?
I don't think, I think we need the one of the two new ones to step up and make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we
I'll second it.
offer the slate of officers that
Okay.
we talked about.
All right. Thank you, Shane. And thank you, Marie. Okay, so we have a motion and a second and involve new members. That's really good. That's good. And all those in favor?
Aye.
I guess we can vote for ourselves.
I mean,
Aye, yeah.
You're voting on a motion. You're not voting on yourself. You're voting on a motion.
oh, okay.
So we're all, looks like we're unanimous. Let's somebody tell Liz that she got voted something strange that we
We
created.
should just tell her she got secretary and just
Just
make her.
mess.
Oh, she's the new sergeant of arms.
There you go. There you go. Well, in case there's an uprising, we need something. But
Exactly.
so anyway, not to go there. I'm sorry. All right. Well, with that, I guess James, anything else we need to talk about? Shelby.
You're on mute.
Sent y'all a nasty email about the historic preservation plan. So
James, just so
For
you
the
know,
record,
I was ready to vote on
yeah. For the
today.
record, James, you didn't show up to the meeting, not us. I read all the pages.
Oh, that's
all right. So, but I sent a nasty email. Any last comments? Please get them in. Review it. We'll vote on it next month.
okay.
I do have a question real quick as I looked over our agenda. And I did notice the secretary's responsibility is to distribute the conflict of interest forms, but I do not have the conflict of interest forms. Is that the same? I mean, I have conflict of interest forms that I get from UCA. Is that the same thing, James?
Well,
Cindy
yeah,
has-
Lauren will send them out.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
good.
I
I
did-
hoped that they would be sent out by someone, but if I needed to locate them, I needed to know where I needed to go.
Yeah, I know that Denise at the city clerk's office collects them, but I didn't know that we did them, James.
And neither.
Yeah, we have a conflict of interest form I think we have to fill out. And I also believe that we need to fill out a financial interest statement because I just did that at UCA today.
Yeah.
And there's a spot for
Well, that's-
commissioners of local commissions. So I assume we have to do that too.
Yeah. Is that included with this conflict of interest? Because I
I
thought,
think they're two separate forms.
okay. Well, whatever we need to do,
Yeah.
Shelby, you're killing it as the secretary.
Yeah, I know. You're
Well, it's only because I had to do it for UCA and I just filled out that financial interest statement and it was not fun. So good luck. Well, that will have to also be sent to Taylor because it was from 2020. It's a 2020 form, not new commissioners. So it's Shane and Marino.
Yeah, they send it out. You send it out for the past year.
When I worked at UCA, we had to fill those out. It was for me anyway, it was very,
they.
very easy. I didn't have many conflicts when I worked at UCA.
Yeah. Well, I did it.
Interest.
When I was on planning commission. I did. I just didn't. I don't recall ever doing it on this one, but
Yeah, for some reason they've added the ethics commission at the state has added any
Okay.
commission board that you serve on at the city or county level.
well,
I don't know
that's
why they
I'm
care.
fine with it. I just didn't, like I said, it was a surprise to me, so that's fine.
Weird.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to apprise y'all of is applied for a CLG grant for the resurvey of the Hendricks College addition, as well as the resurvey of the Conway Commercial Historic District. The idea behind both of those is in advance of being able to update the National Register nominations for those. They told us that we needed to resurvey the districts. Hendricks was in 07. Downtown was in 2010. So they do fall in that 10-year criteria of what the state recommends for us to resurvey.
Okay.
And so with that, provided, assuming we'll get both of those grants, we'll put out an RFP for that work, and then get that done. Then the following year, start sort of getting the nomination forms updated, and then beyond that, what we'll be looking at doing, and this will have to be a local effort, is to get both of those districts made have local designation. And for Shane and Marie, the difference between that, obviously, I think we saw that first application. That's kind of the most poignant examples of why the local designation is different than the or overlay designation, are things like demolition or controlling demolition, or issues like windows. So wood windows versus replacement. The overlay district is mainly, it is not a historic overlay. It is I would say a historic light, maybe, because there's less concern about the historical integrity of the structure and more about maintaining the design in conformance with what the regulations are. So
yeah, in terms I've been seen nationally, it's a conservation district is what some people call it, or it's a buffer district, buffer type thing if we maintain what we're trying to maintain as best we can, minus the windows, then when we want to expand, we can expand into areas that are still what they need to be, have been maintained up to a point at least, and we have better options if we do expand the A.C.P. Robinson district. So that's kind of and there's
which has been facilitated by the creation of the Hendricks College Edition, and what hopefully we'll get finished. Have Sandra Taylor Smith finish at some point the College Avenue Historic District.
So but anyway, to me, I'm all for that stuff. Let's get going with it. But
James,
all
how
locked up?
I was gonna say, James, how is Tony?
Locked up that I can see.
She has gotten most of her survey forms turned in to the state. I haven't heard from Catherine, but she's got most of the narratives for the Tiny Toads done as well. So we're progressing well towards wrapping up both of those projects.
Good.
I think Steve froze. I froze for a good minute as well a second ago, but I think Steve's frozen now. It looks, it's so funny when people freeze.
That's the quietest Steve's ever been.
Oh, no. Well, Emily, as vice chair, I think you might have to take over. Do we have anything else?
Have you noticed though that, speaking of freezing, have you all been noticing Conway Corp and the internet's been kind of crazy lately?
Yep, it's very in and out.
Yeah, it's very spotty. I'm just curious I don't know if it was here or if everyone is experiencing it citywide.
Like I said, right before Steve froze, you were all frozen to me for about at least 45 seconds. So I missed the discussion at the end of that, but I can go back and replay it on YouTube and get the notes I need.
And I've Steve, or I failed to mention this. I just wanted you all to be aware that these meetings are streamed to YouTube and Facebook Live.
Right.
So.
Yes. With that said, does anybody else have anything to bring to the table? Okay, I just need a motion to adjourn.
I'll motion to adjourn.
All right.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
See you. Bye-bye.